Hello, trading is closed on March 1st, 2018. Yesterday we pointed out there was a wall into the close. I said these things usually get reversed. Based on that, I was looking for a rally. I said if we gapped under the low smartly, the call was killed before the open. Well, futures dropped well under 2,700 overnight, but this is not a smart gap under this close. So the call was we have a rally, and actually we rallied from here 30 points and actually recovered 13 points positive, and you can see all of the move from the wall was reversed. Normally you get more than that, but you don't really have to. So you might say the call was correct, but of course if I'd called for a big drop instead of a rally, I could say, well, I called that one too. And the big rally was the real action, even though we did get recovery of this. MEJT said this rally was a false move, predicted a return to this line. It said the drop was false, predicted we'd overtake this line, which we did by a small fraction. There's no signal carrying over till tomorrow. I have mixed indicators for tomorrow. The most common thing is we have a gap and promptly trade outside the range. Next most common is we close, it'll change. Neither of those things has to happen, but usually one of them will. This is a pattern with an early low and a late high. It typically is positive. When we don't close near the high, we either gap up and we overtake this high promptly, or else it leads to further weakness. That's negative. What's positive is we dropped all day long. We couldn't undercut any of these lows. What's also positive is that this is a major support level, as we'll see. It's a positive thing when you drop the support and you don't go through it. Typically it means you gap under this level tomorrow or else support wins. Let's see how good this support is, and it really is pretty good. Now when I did my wave count, I had the last wave starting from here. It doesn't take too much finagling to make it start from here. And you can see how nicely the Fibonacci grid outlines all our prices. Here's 88.66, 78.60. This stopped right at 61.8. Here's your 50. This recent drop today is 38.2. Here's this consolidation at 23.6, 14.6. That's not an accident. That's pretty good here. It slipped a bit. It's even better than this. It's right on the dot. So we do have support here. Now, of course, if it moves again, you don't know if it's going to 25.97 or 27.43 almost, but at least you know you're at support. That's the daily chart. There's also Fibonacci support on the 30-minute chart. You can take this whole range, take a Fibonacci grid. You'll see support here at the 61.8%. You can then draw your Fibonacci grid on this consolidation. You also have support here. Now, if we keep dropping, there's also support right here, 26.05, 26.07. So if we just keep falling out of bed, that's right, look for support next. Now, I do think this is wave A of 2 and not 2. I do think this structure here counts as 3s better than it does as anything else. So if this is B, and I'm not saying it is, but if it is, there should be another move up. And if it doesn't start from here, it should start at some point and take us higher one more time prior to the collapse. Now, I don't care what happens. You can always find some wave count that works. If support holds, here's your A, B, C with all kinds of nice fib ratios, and I think you'll see it really counts pretty well as a 3-wave structure. So it implies it's a B wave. So I think at some point we're going to have one more rally and probably a pretty good one. It can start from here, but it doesn't have to start from here. We have conflicting indicators. If we don't gap under this low, we might undercut it slightly during the day, but the low will probably hold. If we do gap under it, I have a new target, really about 70 points lower than where we closed. So if we can hold this early, we might be able to get something on the upside. And if it falls right at the open, we're in big trouble again. Now, tomorrow's market is the one with the early low. If we do gap up, and don't overcut this, which isn't impossible, I guess, but if we gap up, we don't overtake this, I don't think the gap up is going to last very long, and there should be a pretty steep drop if that should happen. And whether or not the drop holds on to these lows could give us a clue how good any recovery is going to be. So tomorrow's open's critical, conflicting indicators. At some point, I expect one more rally and then a big drop, and that's today's call.